Good morning. It is Friday. All right.
Yeah, fine.
Me and Casey here, we are going to do a little bit of reaction to Ollie's press conference this morning. So, got a few quotes. I will read the quotes, and then we'll have a little bit of a look at what we think about those. There's going to be a poll on Twitter. Is it going up soon?
I think it's already up.
It's already up. So there's a poll on Twitter, and we're going to be asking you guys, do you actually think we're going to sign someone? So head over to our Twitter and get involved in that. Also get involved in the comments, and we'll read some of them out shortly as well. So here's what he said. On facing Harry Kane, he said, Harry's one of the top strikers in the world, and we're just happy that he's back fit after the injury he had last year. We'll do our best to keep him quiet. We have a Harry back there who's looking forward to facing his international teammate.
A bit of a weird quote, isn't it?
It is a bit of a weird quote. Yeah, it's just a weird quote.
Yeah, I feel like someone asked about Kane and he was like, I don't know what to say, because it's not like you're going to say, oh yeah, our centre-backs are relishing facing a very, very good striker who works in and around spaces, and especially when they've exploited the space behind every back line, and our back line leaves massive spaces.
Honestly, mostly the press conferences are nonsense. Like, don't expect the truth. Expect whatever he says is basically following some sort of script or an agenda. And it's the same with transfers, which we're getting into. I'm not going into the transfer window now. Of course, my focus is on Sunday's game. The club's always working hard to have a strongest possible squad. And if something happens, in or out, you'll get to know. Great. We're planning... when we're planning, you've got players here we believe in. The transfer window is still open for a little while, and the club has been working and know my view, and we're here to strengthen in the long term as well. I think my word in lockdown, exploit, was a bad word by me. I didn't mean it in that respect. I mean, clubs out there have to move because of the situation, and it might be a situation for us. What?
I think, well, let me put it this way. I think that last part, he did mean what he said, but he thought, when he said it, that we were going to have 3 or 4 players by now and we'd be fine and not be one Donny van der Beek up.
The first line of that final paragraph, he starts to backtrack on saying exploit. And then he basically says, that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
So he tries to take it back, but doesn't take it back.
Yeah, at the same time, it's like, he's basically...
It's like saying, I'm sorry for calling you a cunt, but you're a cunt.
Cheers, Steve. That was great. Friday morning already starting out well. Yeah.
That's what he said, though, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. He's just basically saying, oh, I don't want to do it, but I do want to do it. So I'm sorry, but I'm not telling you I'm doing it.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
So what does that actually mean? Well, again, don't listen to what the manager says necessarily in press conferences. This is the same guy that says he wants to keep every player we've sold and never says anything about the players that we're trying to sign in the press conferences anyway. So... unless he comes out and says something wild, which isn't Ollie's style, then I don't think you can read much into it.
Well, I just said to you off camera, and I said it's very depressing, the thought of the manager before Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was obviously Jose Mourinho. He called out he went wild, and he called out the owners, and he was saying
did fuck all for him.
Got him sacked. But then he moved to Tottenham, and we were like, oh, why have you gone to Tottenham? They'll back you even less. And Jose Mourinho, whatever, I don't know. We'll go with that one. Has now got all the players that Manchester United need to sign, as in a left back, a right winger, a backup striker, and probably going to get a centre back. And we're here with, again, one Donny van der Beek up, who's a good signing, but not what we need, not all we need.
And on Jose Mourinho, he said, we're in a strange time at the moment. You've got sometimes to have a bit of fun as well. It was a couple of innocent moments. For me, Jose is a very charismatic coach and manager. I enjoyed in the media talking to him, enjoyed watching him. He's a winner, but I'm not one of those that really go into all these mind games. I've got ultimate respect for him as a coach and results and everything he's given football. Again, a nothing quote. Is this on being asked about patting him on the head after you battered him?
I think it was because he said that if Mourinho moved the goalpost, because he had that in that Europa qualifier, apparently he said the goalposts were too low, so he got him to lift them up. And then he said after the game against Brighton, because obviously Trossard hit the crossbar, he was saying, oh, if Jose was here, we would have had one more goal against us. And then Mourinho came out and said, well, if the penalty box was bigger, you'd have more penalty. I'm like kind of snapped at him, and I'm like, yeah.
Anyway, so on the Mourinho penalty one, he says it's more for you and the media. It's important given that we have a bit of entertainment as well, and Jose has throughout the years given us some fantastic moments in football press conferences.
Yeah.
Right, the no's are winning on the poll. 51.2% of the poll reckon that we're not going to sign someone. 23% are 50-50, and 25% are saying 100% that we'll sign someone. So a bit of a mixed bag over there. Let's see what you guys are saying in the comments. Thoughts on the draw? Did that for an hour and a half yesterday, mate. You can't blame Ollie. He's doing all he can with what he's got. Yeah, more or less. I mean, I think he can probably utilise the squad more, but if you're saying that he can't utilise some of the players because he doesn't rate them, then I guess there's not a lot you can do about that, is there? Would giving Ollie Sancho mean we're expecting to win the league or the Champions League, or are we just content with winning the Mickey Mouse Cup? Ollie has done his best. We need a manager to take us to the next level. What?
I think what he's trying to say is like, are we expecting to win everything now? I mean,
well, hang on. I want to go back. The guy made another comment as well. Ollie can't do any more because he's not coaching the players we got into any system. When did systems become the only way to play football? What was Alex Ferguson's system? He was there 26 years and never saw a system.
Shove all the good players up front and hope we score.
Sir Alex, like I've seen so many people sort of try and belittle Ollie by saying it's just individual brilliance. Cool. Let me take you back to the summer of 2012 when we signed Robin van Persie and Sir Alex Ferguson assembles his squad in front of him and he said, "You lot better pass it in." Team talk over.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like,
if you can't pass it in, you won't play for us.
I mean, like,
any questions?
You look at what's it, 2008 Champions League final, and you've got like, we've got a fantastic front line, and then Anderson and Cleverley are behind them, and we're like, okay, it's like, so get it to the front line then. That's basically our plan.
Like, so look, systems are great, right? And systems make it very easy to understand what your role is in a team, and if you've got players on the sideline that you want to bring in. But there's more than one way to skin a cat. Stoke found relative success with something that people called anti-football.
Yeah.
But guess what? They won a lot of matches with it, and there was a right handful with it, and it sustained them in the Premier League way above what their natural positions.
People are saying, "Oh, Ollie's can't coach these players." Let me put it this way: Ollie is an attacking coach. He's always been an attacking coach. Before he became obviously like a managerial coach, he was an attacking coach at United, where we had Ronaldo and stuff. And if you look at the attackers, they have improved. Rashford's obviously improved in front of goal. He's now not taking 2 and 3 touches before he takes a shot. Martial's improved. Greenwood's improved. Like, the players that he's actually had time with and sort of you've seen have improved in that area. And maybe you say, okay, we need to get another more defensive coach in as maybe in the sort of dressing room. But Carrick's obviously got the midfield and stuff like that. It's like there is coaches there. It's just the fact of when you go past our first 11, that's where we need to strengthen. We need to strengthen the first 11 and maybe like get that.
Ollie isn't a coach. Stop this. Well, he is.
Like, by definition.
What sort of nonsense is that? He absolutely
by definition is a coach.
Yeah, and he's done really well with a few players. Like Brandon Williams has come into the first team. Okay, maybe he's not a world-class left-back yet, but he's not even a year into being a men's footballer at the moment.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
it was the League Cup, wasn't it, around this time last year, I think, when he got his break in. Was it Mansfield?
Yeah. I mean, to put in even less negligible, but some people might have a go at me. Luke Shaw was at a point of, he is shocking, please get rid of him. And now he's at a point of, might be all right in rotation. So, I mean, like, even in terms, like, the fact is you can't say every player is going to be a mercurial talent. Like, everyone's player is going to be your next Ronaldo, or your next, like, Roy Keane, or your next Patrice Evra. There's some players that will just be, all right, he's all right in the squad, and he'll do a job. And that's what you've got to identify and work into some players, because not every player is going to be your next world beater. Right,
here we go. We need a coach to take us further. Ollie didn't, and I'm assuming means do a good job, clearing out players on ridiculous wages. Is that Ollie's job? Pretty sure that's the board's job. Ollie goes, not interested in these players, and they go, cool. Now, it's not Ollie's fault. He doesn't decide how much they get paid, and he doesn't decide if they get to go. He go, yeah, I'd take him out of the squad, mate, that's fine. But if the club can't sell him because they're on ridiculous wages, that's on the board, mate. You need to learn who does what in a football club. Blaming a fucking tea lady for not taking corners properly is what you're doing here at the minute. And from the future, Ollie wins 2 Champions Leagues. Imagine any, like, not just Ollie, but imagine any player that won a treble or even a title with us, winning a title with us as a manager.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic. It's like, obviously, like, it's that sort of progression. It's the thing with Zidane, isn't it? He won the Champions League with Real Madrid, and now he's won the Champions League 4 times with them now, and everyone's like, it's such a progression. I mean, the fact is like, I put it this way, like if social media was around when Ferguson was first manager, that would be horrendous. So I'm just saying, like, if it went on to be like this and Solskjaer won 2 Champions League, I'm not saying he's going to, but the fact is, if he went on to win 2 Champions League, what would the backtracking be like on sort of revisionism in terms of, oh, I always backed him, I never had any doubts, those first 5 years were just a progression of his football. It's like, you wanted him out the door, you wanted him kicked into the
people in the comments saying Ollie's a puppet, mate. Well, you obviously think Sir Alex Ferguson's a puppet then, because he said some fucking mad shit about the Glazers, how good owners they are and all that lot, and he's never said a bad word about them. Ollie is a grown-up kid running the house and looking after the kids while his parents are off and running the pub a couple of nights a week. What? If we see Smalling and maybe one other wage bill exit in the next 24 hours, we'll probably see a single signing. Not sure it'll be Sancho, though. It does feel like they're waiting to sell. I mean, it sounds like we've got crazy money for Pereira.
It's
relatively crazy money
his option
for
to
Pereira.
buy for 27 million, so you've got to hope he's good, which is...
Well, he was good when he went Spain.
Yeah.
He was good when he went Spain, and I thought he'd recapture that when he came back. I mean, he was putting in some beautiful-looking balls from that right wing, but he's never really had a run at right wing for us. Ollie obviously wants a different style of
in Spain,
winger.
they have that sort of weird position, like Atletico play it with Koke and stuff, where it's like a wide playmaker. So it's basically just an attacking midfielder, but he just plays on the right, and he just kind of just stands there, waits for the ball, and then kicks it in, which I don't think works as well in English football. But obviously, Pereira is that sort of mould when he plays on the right. He is just that guy you just pass it out to. He makes space and he can sometimes put a good ball in. His decision-making is a bit questionable at times. Yeah.
Oh, his decision-making is very questionable, and so is his shooting. Not really much change there in the voting. If you want to check it out, we're still on 51.2% for no's over on Twitter.
Can I ask a question on the
this
people
is whether are you expecting United to make another signing?
Put the 51% in. Are you expecting us to sign, like... When you say we're not making another signing, it's like, are you expecting us not to sign Sancho? Is that what you're saying? Because I feel like we'll sign someone. If it's anyone, even if it's a panic signing of like Josh King or something, we will sign
comments there.
Someone.
Craig on Twitter, he says, they're a disgrace. Club hanging Ollie out to dry. Could have pushed him on from a decent finish last season. Fans optimistic. They killed the mood and made it toxic again. Won't get Sancho at all. Yeah, you're probably right. And I think that's what the mood a lot of people are in, is like, the manager has to be backed. We saw a team ground into the dirt at the end of last season. It needed replacements. It needed refreshments. You've got to account for injuries. You've got to account for suspensions. You've got to account for rotations, and you've now also got to account for pandemic.
Yeah,
because you're losing players to that. Stretford Paddock have lost a player to that this weekend. You have to account for that. It's not, I've got no injuries, I've got no suspensions, but I have lost someone to the Rona. So, if we've got to account for that, United are going to have to account for
There's
that.
a comment here, obviously, who said, we see Leeds, Everton, Sheffield United, Chelsea, City, Liverpool, all that spending, and we're start listening to about lost revenue, and this will cost Ollie his job.
It will.
The fact is you look at those teams, and it's a sense of, even Sheffield United today, they've looked at what they need. It's like, we might not need to buy loads of players. Like Everton, we're like, we don't need to buy loads of players. We need to buy a midfield. And they're like, well, here's 60 million and we've just bought all 3 midfielders that we needed. And the same with Sheffield United. They're like, we need a striker. So they bought Ryan Brewster. Again, to Liverpool fans, next Greenwood, eh? Or better than Greenwood, sorry.
This transfer window has been a shambles, but I do believe, this is from Brett, we will sign someone before the window closes. I think Tellers is more likely to happen. I can't see Sancho happening unless a second bid goes in for him either today or tomorrow. Let's see what happens. It basically does need to be today or tomorrow. Nothing will happen on a match day.
No.
And then you're talking Monday, which is nuts that it's got to this late in the window.
It'll either be really late on the match day, like it'll be like 1 o'clock in the morning, Pogba hours.
Well, when do Dortmund play? Do Dortmund play tomorrow?
I don't know.
Because are they going to want to do business on their match day? So you're looking at maybe today.
But then again, if he doesn't play, because he didn't play against Bayern.
It's not about whether he plays, it's the officials at the club that can do the talking. If they're sitting there having a Stein and watching the match.
Or they'll be like, sorry, we couldn't do the business that day and now it's a bit too late.
Yeah.
I mean, I think someone
it's all on their desire to sell. If they want to sell, then they'll obviously make somebody available for that. Or they're playing Freiburg, where Nishan Burkhardt has gone.
You might actually get some minutes now because they just sold the striker. I think they sold, is it Waldschmidt to Benfica?
Stretford Paddock fan.
Yeah.
Loves it. Don't think he's watching this morning,
But
but hello if you are.
I think we'll sign someone. We'll definitely sign someone because I don't think that we can go 4 days without signing anyone. I feel like the club will capitulate and everyone will just pile on and stuff like that. And they'll probably be like, here's Alex Telles and here's 3 weeks of his highlights from when he was at Porto, sort of thing.
Tellers is one that I think has surely got to happen. He's so cheap. It's nonsense. Like, we was paying more for players 20 years ago than what he's going to cost us.
I know. And the thing, I feel we'll get like a right winger because obviously we've been looking at Sancho. We've been looking at Dembele, people have been saying. And someone made a good point that apparently the domestic window runs a bit longer than the October the 5th deadline. That was on Sky Sports. So Ismaila Sarr's still in play after October.
Oh, don't tell United that.
No. That's a sorry, I didn't say that. Please don't watch. Those people at United who watch us, please don't watch that.
Oh, we're dragging it on even further. Right. That'll do from me and Casey. We are back all day today with all sorts of different stuff. And, of course, Joe will be bringing you some utter carnage at 10 o'clock tonight. So make sure to tune in for that. Until then, have a good Friday. See you in a bit.